Title: Let the Little Children Come. The sun hung lazily in the sky, casting a golden glow over the hills of Judea. A gentle breeze rustled through the leaves as a crowd gathered beneath the shade of a large fig tree. Men and women had come from different villages to hear Jesus speak. Some leaned in closely, hanging on to every word, while others sat on the ground, listening with thoughtful expressions. Jesus stood in the center, his face calm and radiant. His voice, both gentle and firm, carried over the murmurs of the crowd. Jesus: The kingdom of God is like a mustard seed. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, when planted, it grows into the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and nest in its branches. The adults nodded, some whispering among themselves, trying to grasp the depth of his words. But nearby, the laughter and shrieks of children filled the air. A group of little ones, no older than 5 or 6, chased each other around, kicking up dust as they played. A few of the mothers turned, frowning. One of the disciples, Peter, shifted uncomfortably and leaned toward John. Peter, whispering, "These children are getting too rowdy. They should be sent away." John nodded in agreement as he watched a small boy toss a handful of pebbles into the air, causing a baby to giggle uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Jesus continued teaching. Jesus: Again, I tell you, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. A sudden shriek interrupted him. A little girl had tripped over her own feet and landed face first in the dirt. Before she could cry, another child helped her up, dusting off her tunic. They both giggled and ran off again. The distraction was too much for some of the disciples. James stepped forward and clapped his hands loudly. "James, enough! Take these children away. The Master is speaking, and they are causing a disturbance." Several parents, embarrassed, began to gather their children, scolding them and trying to quiet their playful giggles. Some of the little ones pouted, their fun suddenly cut short. But before anyone could usher them away, Jesus held up his hand, stopping them. "Jesus, wait, do not send them away." The crowd fell silent, puzzled. Even the children froze, sensing a shift in the moment. Jesus crouched down and opened his arms, motioning for the little ones to come closer. Hesitantly at first, then with growing excitement, they ran to him. A small boy climbed into his lap, while a little girl tugged on the hem of his robe. Jesus smiling, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." The disciples exchanged glances, ashamed of their earlier impatience. Jesus looked at the crowd and continued, "Jesus, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." The adults listened, their expressions shifting. Some realized how quick they had been to dismiss the children. Others marveled at the simplicity of Jesus' words. One of the mothers, holding her toddler, spoke up. "Mother, but Lord, children are small and do not understand the ways of the world. How can they be examples for us?" Jesus smiled and lifted a young boy onto his knee. "Jesus, look at them. They trust freely, they love without condition, and they forgive easily. They do not hold grudges, nor do they worry about tomorrow. Their hearts are pure. That is the kind of heart that enters the kingdom of God." A hush fell over the crowd as his words sank in. The children, unaware of the lesson they had just inspired, returned to their games, their laughter once again filling the air. Jesus gently laid his hands on the heads of the children, blessing them. Then he stood and looked at his disciples, his eyes kind but firm. Jesus, remember this moment. Let no one despise the little ones, for their angels always see the face of my Father in heaven. The disciples nodded, humbled by his words. The parents, once eager to remove their children, now held them closer, seeing them in a new light. And so, as the sun began to dip behind the hills, Jesus continued to teach, the voices of children blending seamlessly with the wisdom of the Messiah.